YouTube viewers out there. It is Sebastian of Sebastian's a Movie Game Time. And today on episode 79, episode 79, I'm going to be reviewing and talking about movies from the 70's. Hello and welcome to episode 79. So let's get started, shall we? Alright, so we have a film called The Poseidon Adventure. It's about a group of passengers on board on a cruise ship as they must fight for their lives after their cruise ship gets knocked over by a big water wave. The Poseidon Adventure. Well, you know, this is a cult classic movie, or some say considered a great disaster movie from the 70's. Really fun with a great cast. Really great disaster movie. Great special effects ahead of its time. The Poseidon Adventure, starring Gene Hackman, Ernest Borgnine, Shelley Winters. Shelley Winters that won her Best Supporting Actress for the movie. The film co-stars Pamela Sue Martin, Stella Stevens, Jack Albertson, and Roddy McDowell, and Leslie Nielsen. I get the Poseidon Adventure 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called The Towering Inferno. It's about a sky building in San Francisco that gets caught in a fire blaze as the resident people inside the skyscraper and the fire chief must find for safety as the fire chief must save all the people inside the skyscraper building and get them to safety from the burning skyscraper building. The Towering Inferno. This is another big disaster movie ahead of its time. Almost fun on par with the Poseidon Adventure. Really fun movie, The Towering Inferno, with great performances. The movie stars Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, Faye Dunaway, William Holden, Fred Astaire, Suzanne Blakely, O.J. Simpson, Robert Vaughn, and Robert Wagner. I give The Towering Inferno 3 out of 3 stars. We have The Godfather. It's about the organization family of mobsters as they plan to fight to control their businesses that the other rival mobsters wants to take over. The Godfather. Well, as you know, The Godfather is another classic movie. I'm sure all you know that. Some of you consider The Godfather the best mob or gangster movie ever made. Which it is. Great memorable quotes and iconic scenes. The Godfather is nothing but a great mobster movie directed by Francis Ford Coppola and is written by Mario Puzo. The Godfather, starring Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, Diane Keaton, James Caan, Sterling Hayden, John Marley, Richard Conton, and Tyler Shire. The Godfather, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have The Exorcist. It's about 2 priests who get called in must find a way to save a teenage girl who has been possessed by demonic evil demon. The Exorcist. Well, as you know, this is another classic movie. I'm sure you know, horror movie of the 70's. Um, just a great movie, The Exorcist. I'm sure all of you know The Exorcist because I'm sure all of you have seen it a million times. It's nothing but a great movie, really is. Directed by William Friedkin, who directed it. The Exorcist is starring Alan Burstyn, Linda Blair, Max von Sydow, Lee J. Cobb, and Jason Miller. I give I give The Exorcist 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Eaten Alive. It's about a psychotic caretaker man who runs a seedy, rundown motel where he feeds people to his large pet of crocodiles. Eaten Alive. You know, this is a second movie directed by Toby Hooper. This is Toby Hooper's second movie that he directed. Um, it's almost as good as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Him being it, being eaten alive, being funny, humor, and terrifying at the same time, and a great blend, almost like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Toby Hooper's first movie. Um, Eaten Alive is nothing but a cult classic. It's starring Neville Brand, Carolyn Jones, and Robert Englund. I give Eaten Alive 3 out of 3 stars. We have the original John Carpenter's Halloween. It's about serial killer Michael Myers who has come back to his old town in Haddonfield where he stalks 3 teenage high school girls, which includes Laurie Strode. John Carpenter's Halloween. Well, as you know, this is the original Halloween that started it all. And before we had his sequels and reboots, but this is the original Halloween. Um, Excellent directing debut film by John Carpenter before he went on to do other great movie hits. But this is like his first big studio, kind of a big low budget film. Really great. Halloween, starring Donna Pleasant, Jimmy Lee Curtis, Charles Cypress, PJ Souls, and Nancy Loomis. I give John Carpenter's Halloween 3 out of 3 stars. We have Slapshot. It's about an ice hockey coach and his hockey team as they're falling apart as they get into a success until they become as successful by turning their hockey games into a violent hockey game, an entertainment of violence. Slapshot, you know, this is considered, everybody calls Slapshot one of the best hockey movies, or you know, the best movie about hockey. And yeah, you know, Slapshot is nothing but a fun movie, and at times very funny, edgy humor, and very violent because the hockey team and this coach, they play a violent sport game. Slapshot is nothing but a fun movie, and it's completely memorable. Slapshot starring Paul Newman, Strother Martin, Michael Otekine, Lindsay Quarles, Jennifer Warren, and Emmett Walsh. I give Slapshot 3 out of 3 stars. We have The Spy Who Loved Me. It's about British agent 007 James Bond as he investigates missing British and Russian submarines, while at the same time he meets and teams up with um, a beautiful agent. The Spy Who Loved Me. Well, as you all know, this is a really good um, this is a great James Bond movie. Um, I thought the James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me, I would say is another favorite of James Bond film that I really like. Um, well, this is such a fun movie. This is a fun James Bond movie. And this is a James Bond movie where the villain Jaws first makes his first appearance as the character. Um, the Spy Who Loved Me is starring Roger Moore, um, Barbara Bach, Carolyn Monroe, and Richard Kiel. I give The Spy Who Loved Me 3 out of 3 stars. We have a TV made for movie called Duel. It's about a man who's driving in his car as he's being pursued by an old semi truck everywhere he goes. It keeps stalking and terrorizing him. Duel. Well, like I said, this is a TV made for movie. And do you know who directed Duel? It's Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg's movie, Duel. Steven Spielberg, the great director. Steven Spielberg, he directed this made for movie called Duel, which is really great. If you have not seen Duel, I recommend Duel to everybody who are fans of Steven Spielberg. Well, this before Steven Spielberg made iconic movies. Um, this was a great this was a great Spielberg film, Duel. If you've never seen it, really fun. Um, Duel is starring Dennis Weaver. I give Duel 3 out of 3 stars. We have American Graffiti. It tells a story about a group of young teenagers during the 60s. I just spent the entire one night of cruising in their cars, going to malt shops, going to high school dance, and meeting other characters. American Graffiti. Oh, this is a fun movie. If you never seen American Graffiti, oh, and the music soundtrack to this movie, it's nothing great. It's nothing but iconic great. I mean, you have a lot of great music songs. If you've not heard the soundtrack to American Graffiti, I recommend you check out the soundtrack. It's really great all-time music songs from that era of the 60s. This is such a great looking, you know, look upon, hot rod car, hot rod vehicles and convertibles. Oh, this is such a great fun movie, American Graffiti. I think it's produced by George Lucas. Directed by no. I think George Luke. I'm sorry. I think American Graffiti is directed by George Lucas, who directed it, and it's produced by Francis Ford Coppola. So American Graffiti, directed by George Lucas. Um, really, really great. American Graffiti is starring Ron Howard, known at the time as Ronnie Howard, Richard Dreyfuss, Cindy Williams, Charles Martin Smith, Candy Clark, Wolfman Jack, um, Mackenzie Phillips, Bo Hopkins, Kathleen Quinlan, and Harrison Ford. Before he was Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford was American Graffiti. So, in case if you didn't know that, American Graffiti, a great soundtrack and great songs to the soundtrack. I give American Graffiti 3 out of 3 stars. We have Spielberg's hit movie, Jaws. It's about an Amity Island police chief named Brody and a biologist and a shark hunter who set out on the open high seas waters to catch and kill a great white shark that is terrorizing the Amity Island and its residents. Oh, Jaws! You know Jaws. This is another well received and beloved Steven Spielberg movie. This is what some people say. Some say this is Steven Spielberg's all time movie, Jaws. Really great and suspenseful shark movie. And yeah, this is such a fun movie, Jaws. Really, really a fun movie. It's starring Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, who was great as Quint, Jaws. Oh, and the music by John Williams and the shark theme score by John Williams. Great haunting score by John Williams. Um, Jaws. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a film called Theater of Blood. It's about it's about a Shakespearean actor man who who plans to get who fakes his own death and comes back to get revenge on the movie critic people who hated his Shakespeare stuff and works. Theater of Blood. This is another great. This is another great revenge movie starring Vincent Price. Another great Vincent Price movie. Um, yes, it's nothing but great. Theater of Blood. If you've never seen it, it's really of a great Vincent Price movie. Really fun. I thought Vincent Price delivered a great performance. It's a good movie, Theater of Blood. If you've never seen it or never heard about it, Theater of Blood, starring Vincent Price, Diana Rigg, and Milo O'Shea. I give Theater of Blood 3 out of 3 stars. We have a Disney movie, Freaky Friday. It's about a mother and a daughter who get who who get their body switched into another as the daughter becomes her mother and the mother who becomes her teenage daughter. Freaky Friday, this is such a fun movie. If you have never seen Freaky Friday, it's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, check out Freaky Friday. If you've never seen it, it's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, is the original. The original Freaky Friday. It's such a remembrance of a fun movie. Freaky Friday, starring Barbara Harris and Jodie Foster, who was like a young girl in Freaky Friday. Jodie Foster. Um, Freaky Friday. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have another Jodie Foster Disney movie, Condo Shoe or Candle Shoe. It's about an ex-con who hires a rebellious teenage girl to pose as the long-lost granddaughter of, you know, of Lady Sid Edmund of Candle Shoe, as the con man tells the teenage girl to find a missing Spanish doubloons that is hidden inside the Candle Shoe mansion. Candle Shoe or Condo Shoe. Oh, this is a fun movie, Candle Shoe. If you've never seen Candle Shoe, It's really fun of a movie. Again, if you have Disney Plus, it's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, Candle Shoe. It's really a fun movie. I I remember some of the quote lines in this movie. I quote this movie sometimes because it's such a great film or a fun film. Candle Shoe is starring again. It's on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, Candle Shoe starring David Niven, Jodie Foster, Helen Hayes, Leo McKern, and Vivian Pickles as Grimsworthy. I give Candle Shoe 3 out of 3 stars. We have Death on the Nile. It's about people. It's about Hercule Poirot, who's supposed to enjoy a cruise, being on vacation on a cruise until he gets himself pulled into another murder that he's investigating of the as he investigating the deaths of a airless, Death on the Nile. Uh, this is a fun. This is another good Agatha Christie movie, or based upon her book, Death on the Nile. This is such a great movie. Great performances by a great cast, and just great fun. Death on the Nile, starring Peter Ustinov, Mia Farrow, Betty Davis, John Finch, Olivia Hussey, George Kennedy, Angela Lansbury, David Niven, and Maggie Smith. Death on the Nile, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have The Deer Hunter. It's about a group of friends who all work at a coal steel mine, who all go to Vietnam War till they find their lives change after completely coming back from the war. The Deer Hunter. This is another good movie, a really good movie. The Deer Hunter. Really, really such a Academy Award-winning movie. The Deer Hunter, a movie ahead of its time. And it won Christopher Walken, Best Supporting Actor, because he was great in The Deer Hunter. The Deer Hunter, directed by Marco Cimino, and starring Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, John Savage, and Christopher Walken, which the film won Best Supporting Actor. The Deer Hunter, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have Force 10 from Navarone. It's by during World War II, a group of military soldiers go on a mission to destroy a bridge. Force 10 from Navarone. This is such a, this is a sequel movie to the first movie, which was The Guns of Navarone. Well, this is a sequel to The Guns of Navarone. Force 10 from Navarone. I thought this was like a fun. I thought this was a fun war sequel. It really is. Excitement, action, really fun. Force 10 from Navarone is starring Harrison Ford, Robert Shaw, Edward Fox, Franco Nero, Barbara Bach, Carl Weathers, and Richard Kiel. Force 10 from Navarone, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have Black Sunday. It's about 2 terrorists of people as they plan to bomb a massive stadium filled with people during the Super Bowl. Black Sunday. This is a political. Well, I want to say a political. It's more of an action thriller, suspenseful movie. Black Sunday. It's really. I really like Black Sunday. It's a cult classic movie. Black Sunday is directed by John Frankenheimer, and it stars Robert Shaw, Bruce Stern, Martha Keller, and Fritz Weaver. I give Black Sunday 3 out of 3 stars. We have The Last House on the Left. It's about 2 young girls who get kidnapped by criminals who rape and kills them as the criminals take shelter of a house until they realize that the house belonged to one of the girls that they raped and killed. As the parents of one of the girls get revenge on the criminals. The Last House on the Left. This is you know, you don't have to see this movie if it's too intense. And yeah, this movie, it really gets to you if you've seen it or if you ever see this movie. It's very hard to watch movie, but you know who directed this movie, The Last House on the Left? Do you know who directed? Wes Craven. Wes Craven directed The Last House on the Left before he directed the Scream movies and many other films. This was Wes Craven's first feature film debut, I believe. But so Last House on the Left, it's Wes Craven's first movie. So, but it's kind of hard to watch movie, like I said. The Last House on the Left is starring David Hess as the main villain, who was great. The Last House on the Left, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have Assault on Precinct 13. It's about an African American police officer and criminals who battle dangerous local gangs as they infiltrate a rundown police station. Assault on Precinct 13. This is a fun movie. This is another fun John Carpenter movie, Assault on Precinct 13. It's very suspenseful action and with John Carpenter's directing style. Really, really a cult classic movie if you've never seen it. Assault on Precinct 13, directed by John Carpenter, and it's starring Austin Stoker. I give Assault on Precinct 13 3 out of 3 stars. We have Live and Let Die. It's about double agent James Bond who goes up against a ruthless heroin and drug baron and his 2 henchmen, Teehee and the voodoo monster named the Baron. Live and Let Die. This James Bond movie is considered like a blaxploitation because the villains who they are in this James Bond movie. It is a James Bond movie, but like I said, there's like a feeling of a blaxploitation movie at the same time. Live and Let Die. It's really, I really consider Live and Let Die a fun James Bond movie. Live and Let Die is starring Roger Moore, Yaphet Kotto, Jane Seymour, Clifton James, Julius Harris, and Jeffrey Holder. Live and Let Die. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called A Bridge Too Far. It's about a different group it tells different groups of soldiers during World War II as they all as they must defeat. Let me start again. A Bridge Too Far, but a group of soldiers during World War II as they are stationed at different bridges and must protect the bridges from the enemy's hands. A Bridge Too Far. Oh, this is another fun movie. A Bridge Too Far. If you've never seen it, it's really a cult classic war movie. Really fun. A Bridge Too Far is directed by Richard Amber, who directed it, and A Bridge Too Far. It stars a great cast. We have Sean Connery, Ryan O'Neal, Michael Caine, Laurence Olivier, Gene Hackman, James Caan, Elliot Gould, and Anthony Hopkins before he was Hannibal Lecter. Um, A Bridge Too Far. I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's about 5 people who go to a house where they encounter a family of cannibals, which includes Leatherface. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, this is a great, excellent feature film debut by Tobe Hooper. This is Tobe Hooper's first feature film debut. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's nothing but a cult classic movie, and it still resonates with a lot of people today, which is really great. Um, just a cult classic, fun horror movie. That's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper, and it's starring Marilyn Burns and Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface. Gunnar Hansen was great as Leatherface. He was great. Um, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I give it 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called Murder on the Orient Express. It's about Detective Hercule Poirot, who must solve a brand new mystery on board on the Orient Express train as he questions all the passengers on board on the train. Um, Murder, Murder on the Orient Express. Well, this is another great Agatha Christie adaptation adapted from her book. But Murder on the Orient Express, it's really hard to say. I really enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express. It's really a fun movie with some great performances by its cast of great stars. Murder on the Orient Express is directed by Sidney Lumet. Sidney Lumet, the director who directed Murder on the Orient Express, and I thought he did a very good job. Sidney Lumet. It's starring Albert Finney as Hercule Poirot, while the film co-stars Lauren Bacall, Ingrid Bergman, which won her Best Supporting Actress, Jacqueline Bisset, Sean Connery, Sir John Gielgud, Anthony Perkins, Vanessa Redgrave, Michael York, Richard Widmark, and Martin Balsam. Murder on the Orient Express, again directed by Sidney Lumet, a great director. I give Murder on the Orient Express 3 out of 3 stars. We have a movie called The Brood. It's about a man who uncovers a dangerous plot that involves a psychologist man and his therapy of techniques as the psychologist who's treating the man's disturbed wife. The Brood. This is a Canadian. This is a Canada horror horror movie. This is a Canada horror movie. The Brood, directed by David Cronenberg. This is David Cronenberg's, I would say, his third movie. But this is a David Cronenberg. So if you know who David Cronenberg is, then you know The Brood is his movie, and you know what David Cronenberg is known for. But it's nothing but a cult classic fun. The Brood. The Brood starring Oliver Reed and Samantha Eggar. And again, it's a David Cronenberg movie. I give The Brood 3 out of 3 stars. And finally, we have the last movie of the 70's. We have a film called Apocalypse Now. It's about an army officer who who goes on a secret mission as he is told to kill a gone rogue colonel. Apocalypse Now Well, as you know, Apocalypse Now. This is another great movie. It's really fun. So Apocalypse Now, it's nothing but a cult classic, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Um, Memorable moment scenes. Apocalypse Now is starring Marlon Brando, Martin Sheen, Robert Duvall, Lawrence Fishburne, known at the time Larry Fishburne, Dennis Hopper, Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is also in it, and Scott Glenn. I give Apocalypse Now 3 out of 3 stars. And I'm sorry, there is one more movie I forgot to mention. So we have a film called The Getaway. It's about a man who gets out of jail by a corrupt businessman who tells him to rob a bank till the robbery takes a wrong turn as the man and his girlfriend or his wife go on the run. The Getaway. Well, this is another fun movie, The Getaway. As you all know, there's a remake to this movie, The Getaway, that came out in the 90s. I think like 1994, I believe. There's a remake movie of the same title called The Getaway, but the Getaway movie came out in the night. The remake one came out in the 90s that started Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. That's the one. That's the remake one from the 90s. It's Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger. Well, this is the original, The Getaway. Again, it's almost as good as the remake one because the remake version, it's the same plot story, but this is the original one from the 70s before the remake one that came out in the 90s. But they're both good movies. Both come out they both came out different years. Um, The Getaway is directed by Sam Peckinpah, who's known for making shoot 'em up action movies, and it's starring Steve McQueen and Ali McGraw and Ben Johnson. I give the original Getaway 3 out of 3 stars. Okay, everybody, that will do it for Sebastian's Movie and Game Time, episode 79. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and get new content episodes. Thank you for watching, and I'll see all of you at the movies.